I've put it off long enough. It's time for a bookish reset. I'm just being honest, okay? Just my opinion. In this reset, I'm going to be updating my series tracker and also my Notion, which have not been updated in literally months. I don't even know the last time I updated them, so that's going to be a nice surprise. I'm also going to do a quickfire wrap-up because, again, I have not filmed and uploaded a wrap-up in months, I think. So we're going to do a very quickfire wrap-up of all of the books I have read since I last did a wrap-up, whenever that was, we will find out. But first, an activity that I have been itching to do. The bookshelves. Now, where you are looking right now, you might think that they don't look too bad. However, they are. They are not working for me and they need some work. As you can see, the bottom shelf is a complete mess where I have just thrown books that I have read. Actually, some of these I read a long time ago, so I don't know why they're there. But it's a complete mess, and I'm just finding that as I read books, they're not fitting where they should fit. So we need to completely reorganise the bookshelves in a way that's going to work in the longer term. And also, this room is right next to the bathroom that we have just had renovated, and I'm thinking that these shelves are probably going to need a good dust. So it's a good excuse to get all of the books off here, dust down the shelves, dust down the books, and we're going to make that fun by actually reorganising the bookshelves. So let's start phase 1 of the book reset. Phase 1 complete. The shelves are empty, the floor is a mess. So now on to the worst part, which is cleaning the shelves. But to be honest, it's made better by my new favourite cleaning companion. This is a damp duster and this has changed my life. If you do not have one of these, get one. Kind of gross that is just from the top 2 shelves, but it's fine. We go to the sink, we rinse it off. Good as new, we start again. Okay, so if you were familiar with my shelves before, I tried to have romance all down here, except it didn't work because I had too many romance books, so I ended up having a random top shelf up here on this side of romance, and then it was all fantasy down here. I didn't love the way that looked because it just didn't work out, so I think we're going to go for a new tactic, and we're going to do romance at the top. I imagine it's going to take 2 shelves, and then I have these bottom 4 shelves. I'm saying that and I'm immediately having doubts that my romance books are going to fit on the top 2 shelves, but I do also have some bookshelves downstairs that I can put some books on. That's mainly fiction, thrillers, classics downstairs, but if I need to, I could maybe put some romance down there. And I also have those shelves where I can put some romance books. So I think let's get started with the romance, which is annoying because the books closest to me in this mess on the floor are all fantasy. Oh no, maybe I should obviously start with fantasy, right? Yeah, you feel bottom up, that makes sense. Let's start with a fantasy. And do I start on the bottom row? I guess so. What are my bottom row fantasy books? Fantasy books I didn't really like that much can go on the bottom row. Powerless, did not love this one. The Stars Are Dying, did not love this one. Heavenly Bodies, did not love this one. When the Moon Hatched, did not love this one. Honestly, I have real doubts in the Romantasy side of booktok and booktube right now because I just feel like the things that people love and recommend and get really hyped, I just keep not loving. And maybe that's a me problem, or maybe it's a booktok problem. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the problem, but maybe I am. You might say, Maisie, why not unhaul the books that you didn't like? That's what a normal person would do. Yeah, I could and I probably should. However, I don't know if I'm done talking shit about them yet. I'm sorry, I really try not to talk shit about books just because I didn't like them. I feel like some people really like organising their bookshelves, but honestly I'm bored already. I'm actually so sorry, but I think that if you enjoy doing this, I think that you're a psychopath. I'm so sorry for saying that, but I'm having the worst time ever. I see now why I put it off, and it looks worse than when I started. Also, hay fever has come to attack me, as well as the heat, the humidity. Hay fever, we love that. I only have 16% battery left on this camera, but I'm going to try and give you a super quick overview to the bookshelves. Do I love them? No. Have I ever loved them? No. They are what they are, and at least I have created a lot more space for myself. Let's speed through this really quickly. Up here I have Emily Henry books, and here I have the Inheritance games. Okay, excuse this absolutely terrible angle, but I am just showing you as I can. On the top left we have romance series books, and then on the top right you can see I just have Magnolia Park series. Below that I just have other romance books. I actually have just had to slot the favourites here because I really wanted it on this bookshelf, and as you can see behind I just have... Can you see? I think you can. I just have a stack of random romance books that I don't necessarily want to get rid of, but I don't feel like I need them on show. On the right hand side there, we just eventually go into Boys of Torment series. I really wanted Boys of Torment to have its own shelf, but it's just not working right now with the layout, so it is what it is, and there's an annoying gap, which means they're not quite sitting properly, but it is what it is. There's a new book coming out soon, so hopefully that will help that scenario. Okay, coming down a shelf I have fantasy, so we're moving into fantasy now. So I have fantasy hardbacks on the left hand side. So I have the Empyrean series, the Crimson Moth. I have Never there. I always have Never on display because it is probably my favourite cover ever. I am obsessed with it. And then we have Crescent City hardbacks, Into a Court of Silver Flames, because I have that in hardback. I really should just buy the paperback, but I haven't. And then on the right hand side there I have Throne of Glass, my favourite series ever, and then ACOTAR next to that. Okay, moving down we have more fantasy, so fantasy hardbacks on the left. A lot of these are my favourite fantasy series, by the way, so Once Upon a Broken Heart, Emily Wilde, A Dawn of Onyx. Divine Rivals I absolutely loved. I didn't really love Ruthless Vows, but it's there because it fit. And then I have, this is the bane of my existence, the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy, but I have Kingdom of the Feared in hardback, so it's like in the wrong order, but it kind of fits there for now. Then I have the Light Luck series, which I'm currently reading and I'm obsessed with. Both those two books were 5 stars. And then the Kingdom of Lies series by Stasia Stark. That is another favourite series for me, so it's there. And then on the right hand side, I just have some Sprayed Edges special editions from Fairy of different books. A Tempest of Tea, The Temptation of Magic, and If I Have to Be Haunted are the 3 there. Okay, this is where it starts to look a bit shit and messy, so just ignore. Zodiac Academy, Blood and Ash, Place of Prisoners, Caraval. Yes, I have 2 copies of Finale. I accidentally bought it twice. A random Once Upon a Broken Heart paperback because I have them in hardback, but I don't want to get rid of this paperback. And then the Folk of the Air trilogy. The right hand side of that, I just have some random books: Invisible Life of Ali LaRue, Assistant to the Villain series, The Shepherd King duet, and Bride, randomly. And then on the bottom row, I have a lot of books I would say are not my favourite in the fantasy genre. So I have Heavenly Bodies, When the Moon Hatched. Bonesmith and Ghostsmith, I do actually really like this duology, but I don't like it enough for it to be up with the other ones of my favourites, so it's there. Serpent and the Wings of the Night, I don't really love that one. Fear the Flames, don't really love. Shatter Me, I was obsessed with it when I read it, and I still think that the first trilogy is so good. But overall, it's not my favourite. I didn't really like the last 3 books at all. Dance of Thieves, Fate of Wrath and Flame, whatever that series is called, Powerless, The Stars Are Dying. And then on the right there, just ignore that for now. I'm just using that empty cubby hole as the books I have left on my TBR for this month. So you can see a kind of overview of what the shelves are looking like, or the main part of the shelves anyway. These 2 books, Talking at Night and Cleopatra and Frankenstein, I am keeping, but I'm going to put them downstairs on my downstairs shelf. And then I have some books that I am going to unhaul the next time that I actually get around to doing an unhaul. So I'll probably just leave those in a pile there and include them when I do an unhaul video, because I think there's definitely some from my shelf that can go as well. Very glad to have this first part of my reset done. I desperately need to eat some food, have a cold drink, and then we will be back to go over my tracker and my Notion, I think is what I will do next. Okay, it is time for my favourite part of the reset, because we all know I love my spreadsheets and my Notion and organising everything much more than I like doing my bookshelves. I think we're going to start with, should we start with series tracker or Notion? I feel like maybe it makes sense to start with Notion because I need to go in and track all of my reads. And that should then help me with doing my series tracker. So here we are on my Notion All Things Books page. And let's start by going into 2025 reads. And I last updated this in March. I did start like actually properly filling this out. Well, I have done for all of those months, but I just don't know if I've got that in me. So we'll see whether I do that or not. The next one is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. I don't know why I had to check that. And that was in April I finished. It's a romance. It was 3 stars. And how did I read it? I think I just read it physically, and on audiobook. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add in the rest of these books. I don't think I need to talk it through with you. I think that's going to be very boring. Okay, I have just finished filling all of the books out. It's basically just all of the books I read in April that I needed to add to this. So it really wasn't that bad. And obviously I'd said I wasn't going to fill out these comments because usually I like to do it as soon as I finish a book. I'll come on here and write my thoughts on it. Obviously I hadn't done that, so it's kind of hard to remember my thoughts on them, but I just thought I would add something. So I don't have any 5-star reads to add. I'm pretty sure that is up to date with all of those. So I think the only thing I need to do on my Notion, monthly TBRs, because I have not created this for May yet, so I figured we can do that together. The first one was Beartown, Frederick Bachman. Select type. Let's do TBR. Not started. Have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. TBR. Okay, then we have The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. Then we have Nocticadia by Kerry Lake. TBR. This summer will be different. Conditions of Will. And then Heat of the Ever Flame by Pencole. Now, there is a priority read that I'm thinking maybe I add here because everybody is talking about it and I feel like I need to just read it, and we'll add this as a priority read. And sometimes it's just useful to add some of my top priority reads on here as well as my TBR, because I often will come back to this list when I'm picking books to read or when I'm planning videos to film. So if I have a top priority read on here as well as my TBR, it just helps to keep it fresh in my mind, even though usually they're on my mind anyway. You know what I've not looked at? My 2025 TBR? Anything at all to tick off. Oh, Lady of Darkness, I read that, I didn't like it. What did I give Lady of Darkness? I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, but it's kind of a 2.5 star. Well, I'm really not doing well against my 2025 TBR. Now we're gonna go on series to finish. Let's first have a look at these. Okay, Rose Hill, I am up to date on that. The Crimson Moth I have completed. When in Rome, I am up to date on that now. The Housemaid, I have also now read 2 of those. Okay, I think that's up to date. So now we need to add some new series that I have started. Heavenly Bodies is going to be a series, but I'm not going to continue that. Lady of Darkness, I'm not going to continue. I've already put the Infernal Devices on there. Oh, okay, yeah. Legacy of Gods, it's romance. So this is complete, I guess. I am in progress. There are 6 books and I have read 1 of them. That might not be right and there might be more books coming out, but that's fine. We'll be able to change that. Okay, that's not too bad. So let's see how we're looking. Oh, 50%, that's not great. I can't lie. 28 series, I've completed 3 of them. I have 14 to finish. Okay, I think that's everything that I needed to do on there, which, as I said, not too bad. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to relocate and I'm going to do a very quick wrap up of everything I have finished since January. I think January is the last reading wrap up I did, so I'm just going to fly through all of the books I have read since then in a very quick way. Don't be expecting any detailed reviews. I don't really know why I bothered to move because this is not exactly a great filming location, but hopefully it's fine. So, very quick wrap up of everything that I have read since January, and I'm going to keep it very quick, as I said. Starting off in February and with Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mehra. This is the first book in the Assistant to the Villain series, I assume that's what it's called, and I feel like I had this for a long time and I just kept putting off reading it. I think one of the main reasons I put off reading it is because when you open the book, the font is so small. It's literally horrible. I don't know why it's so small. And also the premise of this one is it's a fantasy, but kind of more in a rom-com way. I will say it didn't feel that rom-com. I understand where that comes from because some bits of it are a little bit like harsher than funny, but it kind of also did feel like a fantasy. Maybe it's like a cozy fantasy. Maybe that's how I describe it, like a cozy fantasy. And I love the romance in this one. It's fun. I mean, I've just said I don't know why it's described as a rom-com, and yet here I am describing it as fun, but it is. So maybe I do get why it's a fantasy rom-com. It was just a fun, cute, easy time. I actually gave it 4.5 stars, which looking back, I didn't think that I rated it that highly. I'm actually currently reading the second book. 4.5 stars seems quite high, but at the time I obviously really enjoyed it. Then I read The Rival by Emma Lord. This was an e-arc that I got from NetGalley, and this is a YA romance set at college. They are like childhood rivals, I would say, like childhood rivals, and they are competing for the same spot at like the college magazine, something like that. I can't quite remember. It kind of felt a little bit silly for me. It felt a little bit immature, I will say. I am actually somebody who sometimes does enjoy YA books. This one, however, just not really for me. I gave it 2.5 stars. I don't think it was a bad book. I just think that it felt very juvenile, personally, and the romance just felt really juvenile as well, and also just stupid. Like, it was obvious that they really liked each other, so I don't really know what we were doing with that. Next we have Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellers. This is a literary fiction and it follows 2 people who meet in New York. The woman is not American and she needs a visa, and they kind of rush into a marriage so that she will have a green card. He is also quite a lot older than her. We basically follow them as a married couple and the issues that they face, and also the issues that their friends and those that are close to them face in their lives, kind of. Like, we kind of just see the impact of this marriage on lots of different people's lives. You know what, I actually put off reading this for years. It was on my TBR for years, and I'm so glad that I finally read it because I actually quite enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's definitely not a favourite book for me, but it was a good break from, you know, the normal kinds of books that I read, which is basically a lot of romantasy and romance. It felt like a nice palette cleanser in between, which feels weird to describe a literary fiction book as a palette cleanser, but for me that's how it felt, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I remember listening to the audiobook a little bit for this one as well and really enjoying the audiobook. Next, Heavenly Bodies by Imani Eriu. I said I was going to fly through these, but I'm clearly not because I'm still on February, so I'm going to be quick now. This is a celestial romantasy, and I heard this one hyped up so much, so I was so excited to read it. I did not like it at all. I gave it 2.5 stars. I just found it boring, really predictable. I didn't like the romance. I definitely will not be continuing with the series. I'm just being honest, okay? Just my opinion. I actually picked that one up in a like reading 5-star predictions videos, so like I definitely did not pick it up expecting to dislike it. I thought that I was gonna love it, and I think that's why I was so disappointed. In that same video, I read The Favourites by Elaine Fargo, and that one I did give 5 stars. This follows a famous ice skater, and it's written in interview format, looking back on her life and career as a ice skater, and different people who know her and who knew her during the time are interviewed. There's a big drama that happened that meant that she stopped skating, and a big fallout with her ice skating partner at the time. So we explore all of that, and it was really good, and I absolutely loved it. And I think if you are somebody who liked Daisy Jones and the Six, not necessarily for like obviously the music element to it, but if you enjoyed the writing style of like the interview format, and also obviously like the fact that it's about a famous person who's not actually real but feels very real, like I think you will like The Favourites, because Daisy Jones and the Six is one of my favourite books, and yeah, I really liked The Favourites, it worked for me. Then I read Nightbane by Alex Astor. This is the second book to Lightlark. I gave this one 5 stars. I absolutely love this series. I do think the love triangle is going to destroy me. I've actually had a few people message me to ask me which side of the love triangle I am on, and surprisingly most people seem to be on the same side as me. I thought that was going to be really unpopular and that people were going to be on the other side. But now that a lot of people are liking the same side as I am, I'm thinking maybe I am on the right side. I don't know. All I know is I'm scared to get my feelings hurt. It's definitely a very bingeable series. And I read The Dixon Rule and The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. These are books 2 and 3 in the, what's it called? The series Campus Diaries, which is like a spin-off of Off Campus and Briar U, following the children from those books. The Dixon Rule I did not love. I gave it 2.5 stars. I don't know why I didn't like it. I just like the romance, I just didn't really like. And then The Charlie Method, which is actually I think maybe like one of the first ever Why Choose romances I've ever read. I gave that one 3 stars. Not really my thing, but it was fun. Then I read Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I read this one as an e-arc through NetGalley, but it is already out, I believe. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend. It's a romance, but it definitely covers some deeper topics. It's set in New York, which I really enjoyed, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I recommend. Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. Rorick. This is obviously the first book in the Lady of Darkness series, which I just did not like. I had super high expectations for this. It was just so predictable, especially very let down by the romance. So I definitely am not going to continue that series, but I think I am going to give the Legacies series a chance, which is also by her and it's in the same world, but I've heard that it's a lot better. So I think I'm just going to go and give that one a chance and see. Then I read Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in the Infernal Devices series. This is a series that has been on my like mental TBR anyway for maybe 10-15 years. Can't remember when it came out, but a long time, and I just have never got around to it. And then recently I've just seen lots of people talking about it. I picked up the box set really cheaply on Amazon, and I read the first book and I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I know which side of the love triangle I'm on. I'm not sure if it's the right side of the love triangle or not, but I've just heard that like this is the love triangle to end all love triangles, and I love love triangles, so of course I just had to pick it up, and yeah, I need to continue with that series. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. Beg, Borrow or Steal by Sarah Adams. This is the 3rd book in the When in Rome series. I loved When in Rome. I think that's like 4.5 stars or 5 stars for me. It's like a near perfect romance. Practice Makes Perfect was a bit meh for me, didn't love it, and this one unfortunately was the same. I gave it 3 stars. I just didn't care that much about the romance, and it was just a little bit boring. But I love the setting, I love the small town that it's in, and I love the characters that we're following. So I have high hopes for the last book in the series. Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This was a reread for me, and I just did not really like it on reread. I think maybe my tastes have changed a lot because I look back on this book so fondly before I reread it. So I'm actually kind of annoyed that I reread it, but it was just calling to me and I did it, and yeah, it didn't hit for me. This is a dark romance, but it's not necessarily the romance that's dark, it's the actual plot that's very dark. So please do look up trigger warnings if you haven't already, or if you don't know what this book is about. It's very dark, and this time, I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy it. Especially the romance. I remember loving the romance when I originally read this, and this time it just didn't do it for me. I didn't love it. It's a love story by Annabelle Monaghan. This one was an e-arc from NetGalley, and Annabelle Monaghan is quickly becoming one of my favourite authors. However, this one was probably my least favourite that I've read so far. I still really enjoy her writing, and I found the plot quite interesting, but the characters and the romance I didn't really enjoy that much in this one, unfortunately. I'm giving it 3 stars because, as I said, I enjoyed the plot and I really enjoyed the writing. It's just the characters and the romance that I just found myself like not being able to root for. Then we have God of Malice by Rena Kent. This is the first book in her Legacy of God series, and it is a dark romance, very dark. Like, the male main character in this, like, he is low-key evil. He is horrible. Very weird experience for me because I am not a dark romance lover, and where I have read dark romance books in the past, they've usually not had such an awful male main character. Like, he is awful, but I kind of had fun reading it, and I am going to continue the series. But like, I didn't root for them as a romance, like I didn't root for them at all, but I still kind of enjoyed it. And I think I gave it 3 stars, and I would stand by that because it's kind of a bit like, I don't really know how to feel. I enjoyed reading it, but I can't really think of what I liked about it, if that makes sense. Then we have The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. Glad that I finally read this one. It was fast-paced, the plot was interesting. The plot twists, however, were not plot twisting, which is why it's getting 3.5 stars from me. Otherwise, honestly, it would get more because I flew through this one. I had such a great time reading it. I was just a little bit let down by the plot twists, which is kind of like what I come to expect and want from Frida McFadden books. Wild Side by Elsie Silver, the 3rd book in the Rose Hill series. Elsie Silver books are very hit and miss for me. This one was a slight miss, and that is kind of because the male main character just, I don't know, like, he just wasn't my type. And the female main character was also kind of a little bit annoying, and there was also this child involved. Obviously this whole series kind of follows single parents or single dads, I suppose. And this one, I really felt like the child added nothing other than a plot point. The children part was much better done in the first 2 books in this series, and in this one it just wasn't that well done. As I said, the male main character just didn't do it for me. But I do like her writing. I enjoyed the found family in her books. I enjoy the little bowling club that we have in this one. It's like, I gave it 3 stars. I didn't dislike it, but I just didn't love it. And then finally we have Rebel Witch, which I gave 4.5 stars. This is the 2nd book to The Crimson Moth. The Crimson Moth I absolutely loved. I gave it 5 stars. I loved this one as well. I have to say that most of the way through I absolutely loved it. The only reason why it's not getting a full 5 stars from me is because I felt like the resolution came too quickly, and I just didn't feel like the payoff for everything that we had gone through throughout the whole book. I just feel like everything was resolved way too quickly, and it just wasn't that satisfying to me. So that's why it's getting 4.5 stars, but overall, like, I still absolutely loved it, and I really recommend the Crimson Moth trilogy if you have not read it. Like, it's so good. Definitely read it. Okay, that feels good to have all of that done. I feel like I am back up to date with everything. I feel like you guys are now up to date with everything, and I feel refreshed and ready to move forward with reading vlogs. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed, and maybe this has inspired you to do your own little bookish reset. I would love that if it has. Please don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to see you in my next one. Bye!